Good morning and a very warm welcome. You are watching JanataTelevision and this is the English Bulletin with me, Anustha Acharya. The top stories first. Coalition partner agrees on seat allocation in 6 metropolis. Leaders agree to sit down for talks on the issue again. Secondary education exams all set to kick off on April 22. The exams are being held in physical presence of students after 2 years. Finance Ministry issues directive to reduce budget for fuel by 20%. The order will not be applicable for development projects and essential services. Russia launches fresh attack across Ukraine. The assault comes 2 months after Fed attempt to capture Kyiv. And Barcelona suffers shock home defeat in La Liga. Real Madrid inches closer to title. And now the news in detail. The coalition partners in the incumbent government discussed seat allocations in metropolitan and sub-metropolitan cities across the country for May 13 local election. During the meeting of the local level election preparation, mobilization and monitoring committee, they also agreed to sit down again and conclude the seat allocation. According to Advocate Keshavraj Joshi, legal advisor to Prime Minister Sher Bahadur Deuba, the meeting focused on seats allocations in basically 6 metropolitan cities and 11 sub-metropolitan cities across the country. The meeting, coordinated by Prime Minister and Nepali Congress President Deuba at the official residence of Prime Minister at Balwatar, was attended by top leaders of coalition parties including CPN Maoist Center, CPN Unified Socialist, Janata Samajwadi Party Nepal and Rashtriya Jana Morcha. The secondary education examination is all set to start from 22nd of April. The SEE has been conducted on the basis of internal evaluation since the last 2 years due to COVID-19 pandemic. But with the deadline of coronavirus infection, the SEE exam this year will be conducted in physical presence of the students. SEE is the last exam of the school life, hence it garners much interest among the people. The government has made a decision to conduct SEE physically this year with the decline of COVID-19 pandemic. During the COVID-19, the students were evaluated internally by the respective schools, but this time the exams will be evaluated as prior to COVID-19 situation. The date of SEE is set to earlier so that it does not clash with the date with the local election. The exam will start on 22nd of April and end on 3rd of March. The exam will be conducted by the provincial government this time. The National Examination Board has directed all the examination centers to conduct the exam by following all the death measures. The board has also requested the students, guardians, teachers and all the stakeholders to play a vital role to conduct the exam in dignified manner. CPN Maoist Center Chairman Pushpakamal Dahal has expressed confidence that people would support his party once again as the Federated Democratic Republic's secularism and inclusive proportional representation established in the country are his party's agendas. The Maoist Center chairman claimed that people would back his party also to give a complete step to the agendas of transformation established on the foundation of People's War and People's Movement. The Maoist Center chairman and former Prime Minister Dahal made such remarks at a press brief organized by party's Central Publicity Department. On the occasion, he shared that Maoist forces divided in different fractions are coming together to defense of the transformative agendas and for the implementation of the constitution. Dahal argued that the five-party coalition was needed to maintain political stability in the country by addressing the people's urge for development and prosperity. Likewise, he said his party was ready to go for May 13 local level poll even without forcing an alliance, adding that the Maoist Center party is not weak. However, he said that alliance should continue as it is formed with a certain target. This is Janata Bulletin. We'll be right back after a short break. Welcome back after the break. We continue with other national news. The government yesterday confirmed 9 new cases of COVID-19 across the country. According to the Ministry of Health and Population, the number of active cases of COVID-19 has dropped to 400 after 456 people recovered from the disease. So far, a total of 978,674 people have tested positive for the virus in Nepal, while 966,339 people have already recovered. No new death from the virus was reported yesterday. The death toll from the virus remains constant at 11,951. Nepal is currently among top 61 countries affected by coronavirus. USA tops the list with 82.37 million cases, followed by India with 43.05 confirmed cases. The virus has infected more than 505.03 million people worldwide and has claimed over 6.22 million lives. Chairman of Federation of Nepal Export Association, Pawan Kumar Golyan, said that the government should prioritize export-oriented business. Chairman Golyan said that the foreign currency reserves have been depleted due to increase in imports of goods. He requested the government to emphasize on industries that exports goods to ease out his problem. He added that government should invest in the export-oriented industries and should make a favorable environment to export the goods to foreign countries. Chairman Golyan complained that the government is promoting the import-oriented business rather than the export-oriented businesses. He further added that government is preparing to sell electricity at the rate of Rs 4 per unit, whereas the nascent industries are charged Rs 9 per unit. Chairman Golyan said that the government should plan the upcoming budget in such a way that the agriculture and export-oriented industries will be the most profitable sectors in the country. The country has been suffering from trade deficit due to reducing inflow of remittance and rise in import of goods. Chairman Golyan suggested the need for export-oriented business to address such issues. Chairman Golyan added that the Industry Act of Nepal is not agriculture and industry friendly. Pollution caused by dust in Kathmandu on the hand, and the other hand, the hot weather on the other has directly impact on human health. Doctors say that the number of people coming to hospital with various health problems has started increasing due to hot weather and pollution. A report. A number of health problems arise usually during the summer season. Due to the pollution and dust in Kathmandu, more health problems have appeared among the people of Kathmandu. Kathmandu is also on the list of the most polluted cities in the world. Sweating is common in hot weather, which causes dehydration. When there is a lack of water in the body, the blood becomes thick. Thick bloods are more likely to have serious effects on the heart, brain, and body. Generally, an adult has 5 to 6 liters of blood in his body. According to the doctor, a newborn baby has 250 to 300 milliliter of blood, due to which they are unable to cope with health problems in the summer season. Dehydration caused by lack of water occurs in children. Generally, children who go to school have more problems.
पानीको कमी भयो भने युरिनमा इन्फेक्सन हुने चान्सेस चाहिँ धेरै हुन्छ। अब त्यो बच्चाहरूले अब कसरी बुझ्ने, सानो बच्चाको प्रब्लम के हुन्छ भने उसले भन्न पनि सक्दैन कि हामीले मलाई यो भइरहेछ। अलि ठुलो बच्चाले भन्न सक्छ तर सानोले नभन्न सक्छ। सो छिनछिन पेशाब फेर्ने, पेशाब फेर्दा पोल्ने, ज्वरो आउने, हाई फिभर आउने। सो त्यो समस्याहरूले यदि अब बच्चाले पहिले स्वस्थ थियो तर अहिले यो लक्षणहरू देखियो भने उसको युरिनमा इन्फेक्सन भएको हो कि भनेर सो त्यो चाहिँ अब नजिकमा बच्चाको डाक्टरलाई अथवा बच्चाको अस्पतालमा गएर जचाउनु पर्छ।
Dehydration causes stones, urine infections. According to the doctor, the general public is facing many problems related to the lungs and eyes due to the pollution in Kathmandu. According to the hospital, the number of people coming to hospital with general to complex health problems has increased due to the change in weather.
टेरेसन कस्तो छ भने गर्मी भए पनि अब अलि बाक्लो लुगा लगाएर पठाउँछु बच्चा, त्यो चाहिँ गर्नु भएन। हामीलाई गर्मी फिल हुन्छ अनि बच्चालाई पनि त्यस्तै। सो धेरै बाक्लो लुगा लगायो भने उसले पसिना स्वेटिङ चाहिँ धेरै हुन्छ अनि त्यसपछि झन् उसको भित्रको लुगा चाहिँ भिजेर जान्छ पसिनाले। अनि पसिनाले भिजेपछि उसको शरीरमा चाहिँ कन्ट्याक्ट भनौँ न, चिसोले गर्दा कन्ट्याक्ट भयो भने न्युमोनियाहरू हुने डर हुन्छ।
In case of Nepal, the number of deaths due to diarrhea is also high. Therefore, to avoid such problems, doctors have suggested to pay attention to the food and hygiene. They have urged people to consume homemade food rather than eating outside. And now the news from economic front. The Ministry of Finance has issued a directive to different ministries, agencies and public agencies to reduce fuel consumption by 20%, a report. Issuing a notice on Monday, the Ministry of Finance directed the concerned government agencies to reduce the budget allocated under the heading of fuel for the current fiscal year by 20%. The ministry has clarified that the measure of fuel consumption would, however, not be applicable for development projects to maintain law and order and for most essential services, as well as the upcoming local level election, stating that the growing trade deficit, decline in inflow of remittance, and foreign currency reserves have mounted pressure on national economy. The ministry said that the government on April 13 had decided to cut budget allocated under the heading of fuel consumption. The government decided to reduce the budget allocated under the heading of administration and fuel consumption by 10% each to promote the consumption of clean energy. The fuel cut-off measure would remain effective up to July 15, informed Finance Ministry spokesperson Dhundi Prasad Nirola. The Office of the Prime Minister and Council of Ministers and the Ministry of Federal Affairs and General Administration would monitor whether the decision has been implemented or not. Time for a short break here at Janata Bulletin. Stay tuned for international news. Welcome back. Now the international news. Russian forces have launched a barrage of attacks on targets across Ukraine in what appeared to be an intensified bid to bring down the country's defenses ahead of an all-out assault on East. At least 7 people were killed in a series of Russian strikes on Lviv on Monday, which also ignited blazes in the western Ukraine city that has so far been spared fierce fighting during almost 2 months of war and has become a haven for internally displaced Ukrainians. To the Kremlin's increasing anger, Lviv has become a major conduct of NATO-supplied weapons and foreign fighters joining Ukrainian forces in the battle against Russia. Lviv regional governor Maxim Kozysky said on social media that Russian missiles and targeted Ukrainian military infrastructures and that an auto mechanic shop had also been struck. Russia's army said it destroyed a large stapler of foreign weapons recently delivered to Ukraine by the West. The head of Ukraine's National Railways, Alexander Kamyshin, said on social media that some of the site's infrastructures has also been damaged and there would likely be delays to services, but no passengers or staff were injured as reported by Al Jazeera. A rocket fired from the besieged Gaza Strip into southern Israel has been intercepted, Israel's army has said, in a fresh such attacks on Monday amid soaring tensions over a flashpoint holy site in occupied East Jerusalem, reported by Al Jazeera. There were no immediate reports of casualties or damage on Monday, and no Palestinian group claimed responsibility for the rocket, which Israel said was shot down by its Iron Dome interceptor. Hamas, the Palestinian group that administers the coastal enclave, had warned that any incidents at the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound would be a red line. Palestinians accuse Israel of encroaching at Al-Aqsa during the Muslim holy month of Ramadan. Israel says Palestinian protesters seek to disrupt Muslim prayers for political ends and to prevent visits by Jews who are celebrating Passover. The site is revered by Muslims and Jews. Israeli police have said they were committed to ensuring that members of all faiths could celebrate the holiday safely. Prior to the rocket attack, Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett accused Hamas of waging a wild harassment campaign against Israel. You are watching Janata Bulletin, and now the latest from the world of sports. Barcelona suffered a shock home La Liga defeat by relegation-threatened Cadiz to leave leaders Real Madrid closer to clinching the Spanish title. The visitors began the day in the bottom three, but Lucas Perez poked in from close range just after half-time to boost their survival prospect. This was Barcelona's first La Liga's loss since 4 December. Ending a 15-match unbeaten league run, second-placed Barcelona trailed Real Madrid by 15 points with 7 games left. And he hopes the Catalans retain the daring their great rivals bid for a 35th top-flight title were slim before the visit of Cadiz, but this result will serve as a reminder of a gulf between Spanish-dominant teams. Barcelona have been resurgent over Xavi since his appointment as manager in November and even thrashed the league leaders 4-0 at Bernabeu last month. The Surya-Nepal Challenge Golf Championship under the Surya-Nepal Golf Tour 2021-22 is all set to fee off on Tuesday. The championship, being organized by Nepal Professional Golf Association, will be held at the Royal Nepal Golf Club from April 19 to 22. Altogether, 56 golfers, including 7 Nepalis residing in the UK, will be competing in the event, according to the organizer. Among them, 36 are professional golfers and 20 are amateur. Among the golfers residing in the UK are Mahendra Phagami, Vishnu Thapa, Rasu Tamang, Gajendra Gurung, Charnak Limbu, Bhakta Sirchan and Dev Rana. The title contenders of the event include Bhuvan Nagarkoti, Jairam Shrestha, Sanjay Lama, Ravi Khadka, Ram Thapa and amateur Subhas Tamang, Sukra Bahadur Rai, and unable to participate in the event as he is currently playing professional golf in India. He is expected to play the remaining 2 events under the Surya-Nepal Golf Tour. The championship will be played under 72 holes and the winner will walk home with a cash prize of 100,000. The second position holder will bag Rs 65,000 while the second runner-up will receive Rs 46,000. All top 21 players will receive cash prizes. Manchester United midfielder Bruno Fernandes was involved in a car crash on Monday on his way to the club's training ground, according to a news report published by Reuters. The parties involved were understood to have sustained serious injuries and the Portugal international is expected to train, the news agency reported, citing a club source. United manager Ralf Rangnick is expected to address the media later on Monday about the crash. United are 5th in the Premier League standing with 54 points from 32 games and next 5 second placed Liverpool on Tuesday. We are at the end of Janata Bulletin and the headlines once again. Coalition parties agree on seat allocation in 6 metropolis. Leaders agree to sit down for talks on the issue again. Secondary education exams all set to kick off on April 22. The exams are being held in physical presence of students after 2 years. Finance Ministry issues directive to reduce budget for fuel by 20%. The order will not be applicable for development projects. Russia launches fresh attacks across Ukraine. The assault comes 2 months after failed attempt by capture Kyiv. And Barcelona suffers shock home defeat in La Liga. Real Madrid inches closer to title. And that's all from the English News Desk for today. You can follow Janata Television and our programs on various social media platforms, including on our website janatasamachar.com. Keep watching Janata Television. Namaste.